You got something to say?
No.
Yeah.
See what they saying.
We'll see what they saying about what.
If it's time for Israel to make his entrance into the world, or not. To be or not to be.
So we here for a couple of tests and to see if I'm staying for them to induce me.
Yep.
Okay.
My way or the highway. My way.
So I decided that it's probably about time that I told you guys my labor and delivery story. My son is 6 months now. However, I realized that I haven't really told you guys, my labor and delivery story. So my son, his due date was November 22nd. I found out I was pregnant with him on maybe a week after my birthday. My birthday was March 1st. I found out March 8th. And then so I really basically knew that I was pregnant the whole pregnancy. So up from 4. So the first time I seen an ultrasound, because trust me, I didn't believe it. The first time I seen an ultrasound, I was 7 weeks. It was April 1st. So I was like, wow, like there's a human here, but I didn't feel anything or anything. So I was like, I just still don't believe this. Like, it took me up until I guess he was moving and everything, and then
Did you bring your flash drive?
Good. Was he would never let me hear his heartbeat. Like, he was always too active, so I always had to just do ultrasounds. So, fast forward to the labor story. I was supposed to have a doctor's appointment on the Friday that I was 39 weeks. I was supposed to have a doctor's appointment. So I went to my doctor. So my mom ended up coming out because the doctor told her at 40 weeks that I could be induced. So she was coming out because she knew that either the baby was going to just come on his own or I was going to get induced. And his due date was November 22nd, and it was like the 19th when she came out. So she just figured, she was going to come and see if he came or whatever. So my mom took me to the doctor. I went back, and it was like all the prenatal appointments that I've been to, like it was the same. I took a urine sample before I went back, and when I went back, they was like, well, we're gonna see what the doctor says about your urine sample, if it's normal or whatever. And the nurse took my blood pressure, and she was like, well, your blood pressure is a little high, so I'm gonna see what the doctor wants to do. So she left the room and went to talk to the doctor, and when she came back, well, actually, it wasn't even technically a doctor. I had a midwife. So she went to talk to the midwife. And the midwife is like a midwife slash nurse practitioner. So she came back, and then she was like, well, the nurse wants to talk to you. So she came in the room, and she was like, well, your blood pressure's high. You have a little hint of protein in your pee, so we're going to call you and let you know whether we want you to go. So we left, and she was like, well, let's go get something to eat. And the doctor had already just told me my blood pressure was high, but I really wanted some tacos. I was pregnant. Tacos, and the tacos were so good, so good, so good. So I was eating, and then I was big as a house too, like just huge. I couldn't fit in the booths at the tables or anything. I was huge. So we ate, and then we left, and then that's when the doctor called back and was like, yeah, she wants you to go to the hospital. So I was just like, oh my God, get my hospital bag, because what if they want me to stay? And my mom was like, yeah, you should go get your hospital bag, your baby bag, woo, woo. So we went home, and you know, I had to make sure everything was good because I was washing baby clothes. I was getting stuff together, so like I would have to make sure I like remember to put everything back in the bag. So stuff together. My mom was like, well, anything that you don't have, I could just come back and then bring it up there. So we went to the hospital. I sat in the like the triage room in my pee, and I had high blood pressure. And they was like, oh wow, so we're gonna see what your midwife say, because your midwife is here anyway delivering a baby. So I was like, oh, I would say when I first arrived at the hospital, it was 2:30, and when I finally did get admitted into the hospital, it was 4. So my midwife ended up saying, yeah, asking me. So now I'm just gonna order some food, I guess. Dinner.
Yes.
Like, do you want to have your baby induced? Because, you know, you do have like protein, and we don't want to run the risk of you having preeclampsia. So I was just like, yeah, that's fine. So Friday evening, I was admitted into the hospital. I knew that I was about to have my baby, but I knew I wasn't dilated that much. So I was like, okay, I wonder how this is gonna work. I think I have a clip of me and my mom, and when we were at the hospital, when I was in the triage room. I might insert the clips.
What they have for dinner, and then while you eating your dinner, I have my dinner.
You must be hungry.
Yeah, it's time to eat dinner. So it looked like we have a long night ahead of us.
Yeah, so I was in there in the room. I got admitted, and look at my baby. He teething so bad. He has so many teeth and toys. He don't even, he teeth on everything but his toys. So yeah, like I was admitted or whatever. They started the IV. They started all the stuff. So they decided that they was gonna start the first method, which was they were gonna stick those pills up and see if I started to dilate. You know, the pills that supposedly induce labor. So they started those. And when they started those, it was okay, but it just hurt. I didn't like it. It was very uncomfortable for me being in pain and telling them that I definitely didn't want them to keep doing that. It hurt. And then they were also checking my cervix a lot, and that was the worst pain. Yeah, it was worse than pushing a baby out. So I was like, yeah, definitely don't keep doing that. But they had to keep on checking my cervix, because once again, I wasn't really dilating that much, and they wanted to see how far I was dilating. So that evening, it was the best night. I could sleep. I was having contractions, but I couldn't feel them because I wasn't dilated. That was the best night. So after that, this IV, it hurts. I got stuck a couple of times. This is the first one, and it hurt. And this is the second one. And this the vein that finally was able to get the IV. So it was like 12 o'clock at night, and I was screaming for an epidural. Like, give me an epidural. And they didn't give me one. But the next day, I woke up. Like, I had been waking up all through the night. I did get a little bit of good sleep. So finally, I had woke up, and I just was like, oh my God, please. My mom, you know, was going back and forth to my house to like feed my dog and cat. And like, she would bring, you know, snacks, and I really wanted some food, but they wouldn't let me eat. I can only have clear liquids. Like, I could have broth, or I could have like ginger ale, or like water. I was so mad, but because they kept on trying to induce me putting the pills up there. So it got to the point where you know, they was just like, okay, so if this doesn't work, we're gonna try something else. So they kept on was in so much pain. Like, it really hurts. It's like when you're trying to, it's like when, I never had like period cramps, but it's like when you gotta poop and you got like diarrhea and you gotta really, really go and like you just like, and like it's a real big contraction. You just push it all out. That's what it feel like. Like you just want to push hard. And like, I was in pain, but it wasn't even the worst pain yet. Having to redo my IV because the IV that they had was in my hand. And like I kept on like, I don't know, snagging it. And then it kept going out. The alarm kept going off. It was really annoying. I was like, dang, I know they tired of me snagging this thing. So they end up looking for a new IV site. And I didn't really have any other veins, you know, that they could use. So they tried another site eventually. But it was like, it was really annoying. Those IVs are really, really annoying. It was on my hand in this vein. It was so annoying. But, yeah, so I got a couple of videos. I don't know. I might have to put them in here. So, we're about to eat. So, I originally went to the doctor for my 39 weeks. Doctor's appointment, ended up coming to the hospital for protein in my urine. And they ended up deciding to induce me tonight. So now I'm at the hospital and we're about to eat dinner. You eating dinner?
Mommy eating dinner.
Yeah, mommy. Mommy's here. Oh, mommy, I done unplugged it. I'm sick. See, that's why I needed a long one.
We have enough juice that
Bro, I got me some of this
What is it?
pot roast and I got me a baked potato. I got me a salad. It's a drill. Got me a brownie. Well, I better enjoy this meal because it seems like I'm gonna be on clear liquids. What do you have? Give me that. He always finding something to eat. Give me. So, okay, I know I'm taking a while to get through the story, but look, okay, so I gotta get you guys like all the minor details because it's important. Like, it's important. Okay, so halfway through the day, I think it was like 5, 6. They decided that they was gonna stop doing the pills. So they asked me, did I want to have a balloon catheter? And I was like, what is a balloon? And they explained to me, like, you know, basically they stick it inside, in your cervix, and it's supposed to like push it open so you can dilate. And then like when you're dilated when you're dilated to a certain amount, it's gonna fall out. So I finally agreed to it because I already know that it hurts when they check my cervix. Like I hated them touching me. So when they did it, it felt like they was like sewing my cervix. It felt like they was like sticking a needle and a thread and just doing like that. And it was like 2, 3 people doing it to me. Like they were all just like working together. I was like, this is hurt. Like, I was like, this hurts. This hurts. But it had to be done. So once they did it, you know, I was laying there. And that's when the pain really started. Like, oh my goodness. It was so painful. And then I had got up. I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I don't know. It was like 4 hours later. I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom. I was like, oh my God. And then the balloon catheter fell out while I was peeing. And then not only did it fall out, but my mucus plug fell out. After my mucus plug fell out, the pain was, I don't know, the pain was way worse. And I was like, I thought I wanted an epidural then. I really want an epidural now. And that night, I think that, because I think I got my story confused. The first night was Friday. This is Saturday. So this is when they decided to put the balloon catheter, and then, you know, it's night now. And I'm in labor, like, I'm literally in labor. So I was begging for epidural, and the morning. So it's 6:40 a.m. and I am disgusted. Like, I had a full night of sleep. I've been asleep on and off all night. I've had some contractions, but apparently my contractions are 6 minutes apart and I can't even feel them. So we'll see. Hopefully this can end soon, because this is so annoying. The noise is my hobby. The morning comes and I am listening to music. That's when I was listening to music. I was ready for the baby to come at that point. When you want magnesium, you cannot walk around, because first of all, you're going to be lightheaded, dizzy. And then they told me, like, my baby, when he came out, he was going to be a little tired and lethargic because of the magnesium. So I'm just like, okay, I already had to get induced. I'm in labor. I can't walk around. I was really feeling like pissed. Like, I was mad. Because for one, I wanted to use the birthing tub and I couldn't because I had to get induced. It really just messed my experience up, in my opinion. But honestly, I was glad that I, got him out the way I did. So finally it was time to give birth. So we went to the labor room. The labor room was another room, but my midwife wasn't in the room yet. So by the time it was like, I don't know, maybe 10, almost 11, and we was in the birthing room, I was feeling like I was ready to have him. But, imagine I'm looking a hot mess.
And he's doing great and you're doing great. So one of the most important things during this pushing phase is to take a huge breath in, let that out. That fills his reserve tank. You take a huge breath in, and then we're going to tuck your chin. We're going to help you hold your legs up, and you're going to bear down like you have to have a balance. So girl, when you push, the best way to do it, or most helpful, is we'll hold your legs up and you grab underneath your thigh and pull them back. So if you pull them back and relax them way down, give a big opening for him to come out. Okay, does that make sense? So we'll practice for a minute here. You're gonna lift up your leg like this. You will hold underneath here.
I'm gonna check while we push. Are you having a contraction now?
So we're picking up one. Okay, ready? Take a great big deep breath in. See if you can grab under this leg. Take a big breath in and let it out.
And then fill your lungs up
take a great big breath in. Big breath in, and hold that breath and bear down like you have to have a balance movement. So grab that leg. You're gonna have to put hang it low. That's a go. That's a go. We'll get a stirrup for you in a minute. Okay, big breath. Load those hands up. Hold that breath and push really hard. And go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's okay.
It's
9,
the fluid that's
10.
leaking out. Okay,
Good girl. Let that breath out.
Normal.
Now do that one more time. Load those lungs. Big breath in. And hold it, tilt your chin, and push as hard as you can. That's a girl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good girl. Let that breath out. Take a great huge breath in. Let's do one more, sweetie. One more. Ready? Big breath in. Hold that breath and push down as hard as you can. Let's do that one. Can you do one more, or are you done? Are you okay? No? Okay, that contraction's gone, I think. So we only want to push with contractions because we're going to work with your body. What do you think?
I think it was gone. When's the last time you went pee?
It's been a bit.
I gotta pee.
You gotta pee?
I guess I have to pee. A hot mess. And I was hot every 5 minutes. They had to give me a fan. It was so ghetto, y'all. Like, I was like, please. And then my midwife wouldn't come in the room. I think she was giving birth, like, helping deliver another baby. So they was like, oh, you know what? Don't push. But you can, like, try to, like, position yourself to, like, push the baby down. So they was like, you can push a little bit, but don't like push super hard. But I was like, you can't tell me not to push super hard because I can't control it. Like, it was to the point where he was ready. He was ready. And I knew he was ready. I felt it. I was like, I can't help it. And they was like, well, try to hold on till your midwife comes in the room or whatever. And I was like, I don't care. At this point, I'm going to deliver my own baby. Okay. And like, they had me laying on my back, but I wasn't going for it. So I put myself in another position, you know, a better birthing position so that I can push him down. Because, you know, all that on my back stuff, no, I wasn't doing. So I got on my arms basically, and I like put myself in a more comfortable position. I can't even explain it. And I pushed him, and I was pushing him down. I was getting so tired. And I finally just laid back on my back. And then they gave me that peanut balloon and put it under my legs. And when I tell you that's when my water broke. I felt it like trickling down my legs. Like, I was like, what is that? Am I peeing on myself? And I was like, something is wet. I think my water broke. She was like, no, it didn't. You would know if she checked, and then she put her hand up there, and she was like, oh, the water did break. And the water did break. As soon as she put her hand in there, it just whoosh. And then my mom went to the other side, like in front of me, so she could look. And she was like, I see his head. And I was like, no, you don't. She was like, I see it. It's in there. And then I started like really, really pushing. And my midwife did come in the room. But, you know, I was already ready pushing and whatnot. And I kept like falling asleep while I was supposed to be pushing. I kept like dozing off. But I started like really, really pushing. When I felt the contractions, I started really just pushing. And then my mom was like, oh, I really see his hair now. And then I was like, oh my God. I was like, can I take a break? And they was like, no, his head is out. And I was like, this is too much. And then I like pushed 2 or 3 times, and my baby literally fell out. He just, I was like, oh my gosh. And then, you know what? They took my baby, popped him on my chest, and I was just like, I just had a baby. I just had a whole baby. But I wasn't thinking about the baby. I was thinking about the fact that I just like really dropped him out. Like, and then they was like, oh, we gotta do
those lips. Gases are not right. Okay.
Do you need anything else from out here?
No. Oh, I'll have to stay. Okay. Yep.
that flash.
So she's waiting for the placenta to come, okay? So you just enjoy that little baby. Sometimes there's a lot of pressure with this too.
Or whatever. And they was like, oh, we numbing you up. They started stitching me. Why I feel them stitching me? And I was like, I feel that. They was like, oh, we gonna numb you a little bit more. Then they numb me again. And then I'm like, I still feel it. She was like, you don't feel it? And I was like, I shouldn't feel nothing. Because for one, it was like, it really did hurt. But it was like, I just delivered a whole baby. So I wasn't really worried about it. I was like, I'm not going to lie, y'all. The whole time, I was worried about going to eat. Like, that's what I was worried about, eating. Not even the whole time. I feel like maybe the last, when he was coming out, I was like, ooh, I'm going to be able to eat. And the whole time she was stitching me up, she was stitching me up, and the whole time I was just thinking about going to eat. And I knew I had my new little baby, but you know, I didn't feel really feel it. Like, it just clicked with me. Like, after I was just looking at him one day, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, this is my baby. Like my mom was like, oh my gosh. Like, she was like, oh my gosh, he's out. And like, they was taking pictures of him, and I was like, pictures. And they showed me the pictures of the baby, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's my baby, and he's so handsome. And I sent the picture to my dad, and like, everybody was at the room, and it was just me and him, and he started to cry a little bit, and I was like, oh, his mommy. And he just immediately stopped crying. I was in love with him. My dad, I had sent him a picture, and he was like, oh, he's so handsome. And I just was so happy. I was like, happy birthday, little baby. And it was just the happiest day of my life. Like, I had my baby, and I was just so in love with him. I was
Other
like,
side, this is the more pretty side.
So you know I'm gonna play my lottery, right?
Okay, so this is the side that he got to see. It's really smooth. You can see all these blood vessels. Okay, this is his umbilical cord, and it connected to his placenta. Okay, and then here some of his membranes broke. So this was earlier today when we thought, oh, I think your water broke. These membranes, you can see they're super thin. You can see my hand through them. They held up this whole time, and then they broke this afternoon. Okay.
thank you. But yeah, that's my labor and delivery story. And it's wild. Like, inducing was probably the worst thing. However, because I feel like, I'm going to tell you why. I just feel like I, disturbed him. He would have waited, maybe a little longer to come out, but I was glad that I got to meet my baby. I was glad that he was healthy. But ultimately, it's a blessing. You got your baby, and after the magnesium, just amazing. Like, and I was just so grateful that my baby had came out and he was healthy and he didn't have any problems. So yeah, but it was just the worst. You can't walk around and you be in pain laying there. One thing about my son, he is very, 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 very active. Like, from the moment he was born up until now, he has always been active. He always thought that he could walk. I never seen a baby do so much as my baby has been doing. But, my baby, he makes me so happy. And he's starting to look just like me. So, he always has been lifting his head up. He always has been rolling over. Like, and I kid you not, my baby, from literally as long as I can remember, he has been doing this. Like, I would say 10 out of 10 for my birthing experience. I would definitely say 10 out of 10 for my birthing experience. Like, the delivery was the easiest part. But yeah, thanks for tuning into this video. And if you like it, give it a like and subscribe so you can see more videos of me and my little... What is all that noise about?